So this is chapter 12, Ideal Scenarios, Optimal Teaching and Discipline. It's page 199. Winning the long game. Winning the long game. Punitive responses to children's behavioral missteps are part of many parenting approaches, and parents often incorrectly believe that the more substantial and aversive the consequence, the more effective it will be. The problem with this strategy is that excessive focus on consequences can overtake parenting, placing undue attention and passion on punishment. This negativity can ultimately damage the parent-child relationship and alienate children. In working with parents, therapists can suggest the approach of prioritizing the long game over the short game in child rearing. The short game is dealing with behavior at that moment, influencing the child to stop hitting or to do her homework. The long game is the maintenance of a healthy, positive parent-child relationship, gradually building self-control and positive behavior. We emphasize winning the long game at all costs, even if it means temporarily losing the short game.
What's the takeaway? What do you want people to hear in that?
For me, it's that if you maintain relationship, you can continue to work on behavior. But if you squander your relationship, changing behavior ends up being out of reach unless you resort to really severe and damaging measures.
Yeah, and you can't teach if you don't have a connection. And so what happens if we as parents don't keep the connection is we just the children will disengage. And if the children disengage, no lesson is learned. And the negativity can cycle.
And then you can force proper behavior by being very heavy-handed, by making the cost of a misstep so high that the child doesn't misstep out of fear. But that's not the same as learning a lesson, developing ethics. And it's not the same as teaching within a relationship. I want parents to be invited to their children's weddings right. And to have the opportunity to rock their grandchild. And when you sever the relationship, you may get some short-term compliance, right. But you do it at for me, an unreasonable cost.
And then children won't bring things to their parents for having those big, deep discussions about their lives and challenges if they don't feel it's an open and accepting environment. But what I think we do well in the book, and I think you are largely responsible for this, is really keeping that long game perspective, but that doesn't mean we don't have limit setting and boundaries there, that those are not mutually exclusive.
I think that's a really good point, because when people start to focus on playing the long game, they start to feel like they're not parenting, like they're not being effective setting limits in a way that's immediately gratifying. And that's pretty scary when you're a parent and you want your child to not be in jail, not drop out of school, not have all these behavioral outcomes that we worry about. And so learning that art of playing the long game and sustaining the relationship at all costs, and then being patient and giving time for a different style of discipline and development to together create a solid person who's also still connected to their parents is our gold standard.